Guys, I thought I'd do a video just kind of getting everybody ready. Okay, so Wixwell here, all of his skills have been chosen. We know that he is going to be the fusion, and we know it's going to start next week. You can actually start doing your prep right now. I've done these videos before, but I just feel like it's good to do a refresher every now and then, especially when there's a good fusion around the corner. We know this guy's good because we chose his kits. Pretty much the only things we don't know are his affinity. We don't know his base stats, and they do make a difference, both of those things. That's pretty much it, right? The rest of it we know. We know what his kit's going to be. We know that we went down a defense tree for the main skills. I don't know where we ended up on the passive, but I'm pretty sure it would have been defense because that's where the majority of people were kind of talking about. And that would mean that he's got counterattack, which means that this guy has got shields. He's got shield growth. He's got the new intercept buff. He has got a provoke, and he's got self counterattack. Makes him particularly good in Clan Boss, makes him particularly good in Hydra based on his skill set so far. Probably also Magma Dragon, and then maybe some PvP stuff as well with that intercept buff. So I think he's going to be like one of those must pick up fusions if you are someone who plays actively and can put some time into the game. And they are some like that's real. Yeah, I've done the 2 fusions. I'll just link to this now quickly because a lot of people say fusions are impossible. On the free-to-play series, if you come to my YouTube channel, go into playlists, there is a number of videos from my free-to-play 2024 playlist, right? So, and in the middle of the videos, you will see a chunk where I picked up, where was that? Here we go. A chunk where I picked up Ancora, and then a chunk where I picked up Armand's. And I did both of those fusions back to back. And more importantly, I did both of those fusions without tons of resources already sitting on my account. And that's where a lot of people will be at right now. Okay, so this video is about how do we prep? How do we make sure that when that fusion kicks off, we're ready? And how do we understand like how much time we've actually got? Because a lot of people just live in this 1 second now and say, well, I can't do it. On a fusion, especially if you start prepping today, from today until the end of the fusion, you've probably got like 3 and a bit weeks, which is actually quite a lot of time in Raid to gather resources. So things like this are what throw us off. Things like our own self-control are what throw us off. Yeah, this particular summoning event here, which has got a bunch of good champions, most of them do nowadays. It's got actually Brogni in the summoning pool for this. It's got Helicaf. It's actually it's an insane set of champions here, honestly. Like for Friday, so you've got Brogni, who is an insane champion in a similar way to what Wixwell will be. And actually, the two of them together, I think, could end up being bonkers, which is what I'm going to try when we get hold of him. Helicaf is a one-man clan boss machine. And then in the Void tier, you've also got Dimitha, who unlocks clan boss. So part of what I'm going to talk about today is being active and doing clan boss and stuff. And those champions, like all 3 of those, really help you in clan boss. Now, chances are, though, you don't get them. That's the problem here. The most likely one out of all of this that you might actually pick up would be Dimitha if she's on a progressive chance, because she's a Void Epic. There's not that many in the pool. So if you do pull a Void Epic, which is more likely than like a Legendary, then you've got a reasonable chance that Dimitha pops out. So that, honestly, is tempting. I'm sure it's tempting right now. Anyone who's reading this is like, yeah, hold on. One thing I definitely would not be doing is pulling any Primal Shards when mythical champions are not enhanced, like ever. I would never do that unless you're in the last throes of a fusion and it's the difference between you getting a fusion or not. So let's talk about it then. Let's talk about how do we get there. I'm going to start then by talking about saving stuff. Yeah, and we're going to save stuff in a number of ways. This is actually a great time in here. This little free diff pops up. You know what you do straight away? You just collect it. Terrible move. Don't do that. Any of those energy pots between now and the end of the fusion just sit in your inbox. Okay, they sit there and you hold them and you hold them until you are desperate for energy. And that goes for anything energy related. Like if you've got quests like the monthly, I'm getting close to the reset on my main account here. So as soon as it resets, you hold any of the energy quests until you need the energy. Okay, and generally that is during a fusion. Similar sort of stuff on the weekly ones, honestly, but it's obviously that it rotates more frequently. But any of the stuff energy related, if it's going to drop during the fusion, you hold it. But we've got a full week yet, so you're going to do this twice before then. So you just collect up and use anything you've got right now. There is this thing about people saying, I'm just going to start saving my energy now. Save and bank, save and bank. So all I'm doing is logging in. I'll do my 5 arena battles. I'll let the kind of like timer tick up to 60 minutes and I'll just bank energy, bank energy. That's a tactic. I think we're way too far out for you to do that if you're an active player, because during that time of playing the game, you could be getting a load of stuff ready with that energy. You could be doing a ton of prep. Silver prep. Look at my silver on my main account. It's absolutely destroyed right now. Silver prep. You could be doing food prep. We know there's going to be champion training events. My main account's probably a terrible one to show you on because it doesn't reign true in the same way. But basically what you... let me switch accounts here. Let me switch accounts because it doesn't... I don't play the game in the same way as I would if I'm someone who is trying to save resources. And it's a really important difference. Okay, it's so important. Like on the free to play, I don't have the luxury of just having all the champions under the sun and all the food that I want and all that type of stuff. It's a different game if you're playing. It's not just free to play. It's just someone who's not spending frequently. Okay, so you can see here I've not played the free to play for a bit, but stuff like this, shards popping up, knowing when you're going to get stuff, knowing when champions are going to pop. Because champions help you for a champion chase. Knowing when your energy days are, all of that type of thing can help you plan. But on the free-to-play, so if I'm thinking about energy, the main thing I'm doing at this moment in time is farming up food, getting them ready for champion training events. That's the main thing I'm doing. I'm looking so that when champion training events pop, I've got a number of food champions which are maxed, probably to like level 40, and then a number of food champions which have got no levels in them at all, 0 levels, that I'm going to apply some levels to before I feed them, and like 5-star, 6-star champions. That's like a really big part of the prep that you could do. If it ties in alongside an event that's running, like a champion training event, I thought I just saw one pop. Yeah. So if it ties in with something like this, don't go all out, burning all your gems, all that type of stuff. Just do the event with what you've got and try and keep yourself in a point where you're not spending additional resources. You should be trying to get stuff like the shard. Honestly, you could potentially get the book without spending any other resources if you use your resources well. But mainly what I'm saying is, instead of going all in for this, what you're doing is you're just going in on prep for the fusion. This is where you've got decisions to make. So getting your champions ready, saving your brews, all that type of stuff, I think at this moment in time is more important than completing all of these different events that are going on. So champion training and leveling champs is really important. That will also give you a ton of silver. Between now and the fusion start, and you will get millions of silver if you do that. Okay, so that's where I would put most of my energy. And then that idea of banking energy, I wouldn't really start until probably like a couple of days before the fusion's due. So probably around Tuesday or so next week, I might decide to start banking energy. I will not use a single shard between now and the fusion if I think that shards are a weakness of mine on my account, okay? Shards easily are the hardest thing to come by to get a fusion done. Those other 2 fusions I did back to back as a free-to-player, I pretty much started with minimal gems, minimal silver, minimal energy. Okay, I didn't do a lot of prep in those areas, but I did have some shard count. Not a lot actually, but I had some. If you don't have a shard count at all, fusions are bloody hard. Like, they're really difficult to do. So saving now is important. So, you know, if you've got your quest coming in and I don't know where I am on the free-to-play. Miles away. So I wouldn't get it in time on the free-to-play. Would I? 25 days? No, I wouldn't. But most people probably are in the mix of it somewhere. So just make sure that you know where you are, you know what's coming in, and you save appropriately. there's areas like the clan shop. So you should be doing your clan quests on a weekly basis, and you should be picking up the highest amount of gold that you can from clan quests, okay? Generally, as a free-to-play, from day one of being in a clan and this being open, I was able to do one elite quest, one expert quest, one basic quest. And I'm looking for stuff in the elite where it's just things that are just totally in my control. Putting buffs on myself, in my control, okay? Selling stuff is in my control. What else is there? There's generally only a few that I would go for. Earning silver from selling stuff, that's in my control, especially if I'm doing what I say I'm going to do with campaign. You'll definitely get 5 million silver in a week. Increased defense buffs on a team, I can control that. This one, if loads of them are gone, forging materials from Doom Tower resources is in my control. I can save resources. I can wait until I got this quest active. I can try and tie it in with Clan v Clan at the same time. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do, but ultimately, I would get this one done if I needed to. Increase attack. Yeah, so there's a few which are just very in your control. And then depending on how advanced you are in the game, you'll know whether you can do some of that other stuff. But always trying to do one elite per week. Expert ones. What I then try and do is, if I'm doing one, I try and find something which basically is the same. So, you know, if I'm trying to put, I don't know, defense buffs on myself, I'll look to see if there is defense buffs for arena in expert as well. So I'm just doubling up, doing the same thing. That way it's easier to focus on it. So like this one here, I would take this one and I would take it in elite and just make sure that I've got my defense buffing champions set up to do their job. Yeah, before I kill stuff. Same here. You've got more Doom Tower bosses type stuff. So doubling up those things are really important. And then obviously in the shop randomly rotates. If you could buy stuff like Void Shards because you've got the gold, then always do that. But the main thing I'm looking for here is, like, how much gold do I have? And I would suggest from now, you basically save any clan gold. If energy pops on Tuesday next week, don't need to buy it yet. You've got a full week to choose, right? But energy is a big one to help people through the first few parts of a fusion without touching your gems. Silver could be a big one to get you over the line on a artifact upgrade thing. But then generally, you know, just picking up anything that makes sense for your account at that moment in time, but just saving your gold to do that, I think is really important. Other ways that you can get shards potentially is, if you've not yet maxed out campaign, get it done. You've got a week of doing campaign anyway. Get in there, get it done, especially if you've got Armands. Christ, you should be doing what I was doing here on the free-to-play, pushing towards the Sacred on Nightmare if you've got Armands done. But yeah, if you didn't yet freestart all of Brutal and Hard, there's shards available there. If you're doing Arena on a regular basis, especially Tag Team Arena, then I bought this shard every single time it was available when I was active on the free-to-play. And again, if you're in Silver, then pick up the Void Shard if you can. But it's just boosting that shard count. You've also got Faction Wars, where you've got 3 weeks in total across this fusion from today, right? 3 weeks and a bit. It's more like 4 weeks, honestly, I think. But anyway, you got a lot of time. You should be pushing a few levels in Faction Wars basically every day and picking up these extra rewards along the way. Like, you start to get Void Shards. Void Shards can be the difference between you doing a fusion or not. So definitely be pushing them. And it doesn't mean, oh, I need to 6-star a load of champs. To push, it might be a case of, right, well, instead of having 3 champions that can do something, I'm going to get 2 more champions, which might end up being food, by the way, to level 40 now, put some level 8 or level 12 gear on them, and that'll be the difference between me 3-starring a bunch of stuff or 2-starring or 1-starring. And if you 3-star a bunch more levels, you will get more rewards, right? That's just the way Faction Wars works. So there's way more in your control in Faction Wars than you realize, and you will get a ton of rewards along the way if you've not yet done that in full. The big one really is making sure that you've got the best possible clan boss team that you can have. If you're currently hitting hard, can you hit brutal? If you're hitting brutal, can you hit nightmare? If you hit nightmare, can you push to ultra nightmare? I've done a bunch of videos showing the progress of the free-to-play clan boss team and the sort of builds that I've done. You should check them out. Like, that playlist is there. You should go and check them out. You should also, if this is your thing, check out previous years. Check out other guides on YouTube. Like, getting your clan boss nailed today is basically the best way that you can get shards on a daily basis. Yeah, and If you're doing that already, by the way, and your clan does not kill the boss that you're fighting, I would move. I would move clan at this moment in time, unless it's bloody close and, you know, you got a bunch of pals in there or whatever. But like double chests is so big. Getting the chance of this twice every day instead of once is so big in terms of getting those resources up. It really makes a massive difference. So it's up to you, obviously, but it's massive. It's a massive difference if you're getting double chests from clan boss. Also, make sure you're using your like 4 keys a day. So if you're able to 3 key nightmare, definitely put a key into brutal. Yeah, that 1 key into brutal, even if it doesn't drop you shards, it will probably drop you some gems or something. Like it might drop you a book. All of those things, when they start adding together, really help you out when it comes to a fusion. All of that added together helps you out a ton. You know, doing your Hydra each week is all I'm basically saying, I guess, is just play the game. But honestly, all of these things, they start to add up. One other really big area is Doom Tower. Like pushing Doom Tower as hard as you can with the team that you've got without spending too much in resources to like, you know, boost your team. But you get a ton. You get a ton of resources here. Gems. You get energy, which keeps you going for the day, which gets you more food farming. You eventually get to the point where you earn shards and stuff. Even on normal, if you get to 70, you got yourself that void shard. Like, you should be trying to get normal complete as quickly as you can. And again, myself, there was other free-to-players this year. We were all doing it on a month 1 with well-built teams. So you should go and check out those videos if you haven't. If you do it on month 1 within this fusion, that's 3 void shards in the bank, as well as gems and all the other stuff. It's a lot. Yeah, it's actually a lot towards being able to do this stuff. So Doom Tower is a great source of just bits and bobs. And even Cursed City, I mean, it's not going to be the same level of stuff if you're a newer player. But you can pick up energy, you can pick up just general bits and pieces. Not anywhere near as much, honestly, but you can do some stuff in there. I think that's probably like the main things that I would call out that I would have prepped. I would probably hold forged materials until you either need the silver or you need to complete an event or something. Like just holding it there or unless you pick up like the actual quest. Because when it does come to doing the fusion, if you need silver, then, you know, all of the forged materials, I can literally craft all of these 10 for 10,000 silver. I'll do it now. I'll just show you what I mean. You craft these 10, and this is the same for any Doom Tower boss, anything, and then you just go in and sell it. So it cost me 10,000 silver, and I 10x'd my money and some. Yeah, and that's a good way of earning silver. That's why you should, even if you're only beating the first boss in Doom Tower, if that's all you can do, and anyone can do this, by the way. If Doom Tower's open for you, you can beat this boss 100%. If that's all you can do, you still farm it with all your keys every day because it earns you a ton of silver. You don't realize it at the time, but it's earning you a ton of silver, even if it's gear you're going to build and then never use. So it's really important. Is there anything else? I guess the market, I would be buying up every single mystery shard that I can find between now and the fusion. If you've got a good silver count and you've got a decent amount of room on your roster, I would also be buying up every 39k uncommon and using those within my kind of like food farming routine. Yeah, because again, you're going to need to build that food up over the next chunk of time. You know, stuff like doing the quests on the forge passes, any of this stuff, anything really where you can just gain more resources and it's just part of your daily grind. It's just do it. Like it is the difference, and it definitely comes back to, you know, you need to be able to be active to do these things, but if you just do it, you will have enough resources to do a fusion. That's exactly what I've done on all of these free-to-plays. I've just built up my resources over the time leading up to the fusion and then carried that on. Often during a fusion, my gem count goes up because I'm doing the different tournaments and stuff that are available to me. So don't worry too much about gems, albeit don't spend gems right now. You want to try and build these up now so that when you get into the fusion, you've got options. The gems could either be, you know, another 9 pull of ancient shards, for example. They could be a massive energy buffer for doing some of the different events. It might be that you need another clan boss key one day and you have to spend gems on that. All I would say is save them today for that fusion, so that when you're in the mix of the fusion and things are tight, you're like, okay, what options have I got left? And generally there's a few. Yeah, feels like it all is bleak, but generally there is a few. It's things like checking if you've done all of the recent promo codes. I put out a few videos recently, there's been promo codes popping up. Have you done them all? You know, can you collect more stuff for free? Have you done all of the Call of the Arbiter videos where you could get stuff for free? Like there's a ton of things, honestly. There's just so many things. And it's like a checklist. Did I do it? Did I do it? Did I do it? Especially if you're a newer player, because there is a ton of resources out there to help you to get this stuff done. But I would not say it's easy to do. It's not. It's a bloody grind, especially when you're in the mix of it. But definitely the hardest thing is shard count. If you use any shards between now and the fusion, and you didn't get it to the fusion, do not write on a video, fusions are impossible for free-to-play players. That's a lie. Fusions are impossible for people that have got no patience, is the truth. That's patience, or what's the word? Like stopping power. It's not the word. I can't think what the word is, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. There's a ton of stuff you can do today. Just get yourself prepped. But yeah, if I was a free-to-play right now, I would just be using energy to grind food. That's the main thing I would be doing right now, whilst finding as many ways to collect shards as I can. But there you go, guys. That's going to be it for today. Have yourself a great day, and I will see you in the next one.